centers, and also you can call it in small groups of people. So I have all those experiences. And today, I get excited when I see people talk about SACCOs, because I am so passionate about SACCOs, because I have been there. I have been in that space. I have seen how SACCOs have created impact in people's lives. And so it is such an important and a dear topic to me to talk about this. I'll do this really in, my presentation will just take this shape. I'll just want us to talk about cooperatives, understanding cooperatives, because SACCOs are cooperatives. And then we shall define what a SACCO is, what a cooperative is. And then I cannot be a cooperator and I don't talk about cooperative principles. I'll just run through that and then look at the industry in Uganda, but also look at SACCOs and how they have been a source of finance and how can they be a wealth creation. And then look at some of the challenges we are facing in the SACCO industry, in the cooperative industry, and then how we can overcome that, and then conclude it at that. So the question we have in the August House this morning is, can a SACCO or a cooperative be a source of business finance and wealth creation? And when Ronald gave me that topic, my question was, why is it that they're asking this question? Why is it they're asking this question? And thank you, Ronald, for that preamble of talking about every entrepreneur, they want finance, they want money to invest in a business. And when you go around asking people, what is it that is the challenge? Majority of them will tell you it is about finance. But I want to come back to who this Mercy speaking to you is, and in terms of cooperatives. The guy you see before you on the screen is my late dad. He passed on about 11 years ago, rest in peace. But this is my inspiration. He is my inspiration. He is my senior cooperator, my model. I always look up to him. Why do I say that? I grew up in a district, by that time it was called Bushenyi, and now it is Mitoma district. And we used to grow a lot of coffee. My father was a coffee farmer. And so I grew up as a cooperator. I know what it means to carry 100 kilograms of coffee and push it to the union and weigh it and write money and fill that purse where they take a record of money. I saw my father count that money with a pen. He was not an educated man, but he knew how to count his money. They would go hand over the coffee, write in the book. After some months, actually many months, they would go and get the money. But why is he an inspiration to me? Every time we would go to school, he would tell us, you know, guys, this is hard worked for money. Please read hard. Please read hard. And right now, I dedicate my knowledge, I dedicate my experience, I dedicate almost everything I own to this guy, because without him, without the coffee, without the cooperative, without the corporation, without the union, those days, 1970s, I wouldn't be here speaking to you. So this is what I talk about as a passionate cooperator. Like Ronald said, of course, access to finance is a major prerequisite for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. In developing countries, that includes Uganda, and to be able to seize investment and growth opportunities, create employment, and thus contribute to economic development and poverty alleviation. Now, more than 21% of African SMEs regard access to finance as the main barrier to business activity. Main barrier to business activity. Of course, there are other factors they mention, like power, which is about 14%, political instability, about 11%, informal competitors, 10%, corruption, 8%, you know, and every time we go and meet people involved in businesses and in enterprise, they always mention, we have the ideas, but we don't have the money. And the question is, where is this money going to come from? Because money has to be there, but where is it going to come from? Is it going to fall from heaven like a manna? You know, is it going to fall from miracle money I hear people talk about? I've not heard that come on my account, but I hear these days people get miracle money and they find money on their account. Is that we are actually looking at? We have to get the money, but how do we get the money? And you talk about cooperation. You talk about cooperation, working together. What you see before you is the cost of individualism. In Uganda, and actually not only Uganda, but in developing countries, and even beyond, we are so much selfish. We are so much selfish. We want to do it by ourselves. We want to do everything by ourselves. You know, even if you find someone calls you and tells you a business idea, you don't want to call Ronald and share this business idea with him. No, you want to do it yourself. And as you do it yourself, you become like that yellow car down there. Please don't get me wrong on the color of the car. It doesn't have anything to do with the political environment around us. But that is the cost of individualism. This guy would have gotten at least some of these bags and shared them with a pickup. But see, he wants to carry everything by himself. And that is how we are working. We want to do it by ourselves. Everything we do, we want to do it by ourselves. And that is the pain. That is what is costing us as people, as business people, you know, as communities, as the business world. That is what it is costing us. So, about the power of cooperation, if you can look on my screen, that is what I call the power of cooperation, power of cooperatives, power of SACCOs, power of coming together and supporting one another and holding each other's hand and telling this person, you see, come, I will lift you, I'll be your stepping stone, and you'll be able to reach out and feed for yourself. That is what I am talking about this morning. So the question is, what is a cooperative to you? What is a SACCO? And I think this is $1 million question that people have to answer. What is it when they talk about a SACCO? What does that mean to you? To some, SACCOs mean coins that you save. Maybe after you have bought things in the supermarket and your home, drop that coin in a container and then take it to your SACCO, which is maybe in your village or in your church. Some are still thinking about SACCOs like that. Others are still thinking about SACCO in terms of, you know, 50,000 not, in terms of millions, in terms of billions. And to me this morning, I come to mention here that SACCOs, when you talk about SACCOs, when you talk about cooperatives, it is more than money. It is more than money. It is about the relationship. It's about the relationship. And Ronald is on call, Viola is on call. We have been in this movement of SACCOs. SACCOs thrive on relationships. And of course, I know that as Uganda, we are still struggling with the image of SACCOs, but unless we come to terms and realize that it is the only rescue that we have to belong to a cooperative, to belong to a SACCO, then we shall complain and complain about money. Now, this post has been running around. It has been on social media for long, but I just like reading what you're seeing on the screen. And meet Alex Kato, a member of Tukole Boda Saving Group in Chaliwajara. The group has 24 Boda riders, where everyone contributes 30,000 shillings every day. After 13 days, one member takes home Uganda shillings 9.3 million. Members have bought land and many more have built and done other businesses. That is what I call the power of cooperation, the power of relationship, the power of working together as a group. So when we talk about money, when we talk about finance, what is it that we are looking at? What is our expectation? Let us be the Katos. Let us be the Katos, and the only way we can be the Kato is coming together as a group, coming together as people who have a common bond, and saving together through our hard-earned cash and be able to raise capital to finance our businesses. 9.3 million after 13 days. This is more than sacrifice. This is what I call the power of cooperation, the power of SACCOs. Of course, as you see on that screen, and as I mentioned before, the challenge we have as people is we want to pull our own way. We want to pull our own way, our own direction. As you see on that screen, they are goats. They are goats. The first row, you see how they are trying to, to work out things, but everyone is quiet. I got here a business. I have a business idea, but we have to. They are doing it on their own. Number two, they are stretching further. Row number three, it is getting out of hand. Row number four, that is my best. They come together and they're like, guys, what is the problem? The problem is we are getting it wrong. We are getting it wrong unless we come together, unless we reconverge and talk about these issues and agree to work together as a team. We are not going anywhere. And they say, oh, so this works out. Let's work together. And that's why you see the goats just below that screen. They are fat, they are eating together, there is harmony and unity in the relationship. That is where SACCOs are going. That is where we are as cooperators, and that's where we should look to as cooperators. So really, without, and I know this is something I have seen many people who work with SACCOs on call, but I would be a liar if I don't talk about this. What is a cooperative then? What is a SACCO? What is a cooperative? And the definition is that it is an autonomous association of persons, people who voluntarily unite together to meet their common economic, social, and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. That is a cooperative. A cooperative is member-owned, and that is very, very key and dear to me. Member-owned. It is mine. If I am a cooperator, if I'm a SACCO member, if I am a shareholder of the SACCO, this is my business. It is all member-controlled, it is member-used, and benefits members. It is basically the sole reason why we form SACCOs, why we cooperate as cooperators, is to benefit ourselves as members. It is, of course, formed based on a common bond, and a common bond is anything that brings you together as people to be able to form a SACCO or a cooperative. Is it your old girls? Is it your old boys? Is it the village where you're staying? Is it the church where you're praying from? Is it the business area in Chikuba that brings you together? Is it the border guys in Charwajara? What is it that brings you together? And to me, that is where relationship begins. Relationship begins from that common bond, that one thing that brings you together. And once you identify that and agree to come together and work as a team, then you own it. It is your SACCO. You control it. It is your SACCO. You use it. It is your SACCO. And it benefits you solely. Many times I move around SACCOs, and when we have having a conversation with members, you know, members are now lacking ownership. They don't appreciate that this is their institution. This is their SACCO. This is their organization. They tend to think there is someone who is in charge of this SACCO. Maybe it is the board, maybe it is management, and you know, this SACCO, and I tell them, you got it wrong. This is your organization. This is your institution. And I wish I could have an opportunity of reaching out to as many people as I can. The way we can get out of hard issues with finance is forming cooperatives. That is the only secret behind that. So what are the objectives of cooperatives? One, we form cooperatives or SACCOs to promote the welfare and economic interests of members. Economic interests of members. That is why when you are in a SACCO and you're developing products, you must develop products that are in the interest of the members, because this is for member benefit. A SACCO does not serve a non-member. Provide a financial service at reasonable rates of interest. SACCOs, we have to be the cheapest offer of rates on the market. And the reason is we are using our members' money, we are using the money that we have put together, and it is not our objective number one to make profits. The objective number one is to make sure that our members access finance, our members do business, our members invest, and then for us as SACCOs, we talk about surplus. If you're able to meet the costs of running a SACCO, and then you save some little money in terms of surplus, and then pay it back again to members as their dividends. Provide education, training, and information to members, collective production, access to services, promotion of social cohesion. That's what I talk about, relationship. You know, that is why SACCOs are formed, and that is why SACCOs are made. So talking about running through the cooperative principles. One, voluntary and open membership. Cooperatives are open and are voluntary. In other words, no one should ever force you to join a cooperative or to join a SACCO. Democratic member control, it is ours. It is ours, and we make decisions as members, and we make a decision that we know they are going to build our SACCO. And in SACCO, we have what we call one man, one vote. Whether you have 1,000 shares, whether you have one share, it is still one man, one vote. Member economic participation, we do not join a SACCO and then go and forget about it. We are supposed to participate in the economic sense as far as these SACCOs are concerned. Autonomy and independence, education, training, and information. We are supposed to train our members. That is our obligation as leaders of the SACCO. Train, they're supposed, and this training is very, very key if we have to create a membership of SACCOs that is informed of what a SACCO is and the benefits of belonging to a SACCO and be able to participate actively in this SACCO. It is our obligation to train, educate our members. Right now, people do not understand SACCOs. When you talk about SACCOs, they mean it is simple, small things. They don't know that SACCOs have completely transformed. SACCOs are no longer small. People don't know that. Recently, we had a conference, and one of the speakers came and said, you know, SACCOs, now when you have a member and they have made 10 million, migrate them to a bank. And we said, no, come on, SACCOs are big. And so we have to educate the community, we have to educate the members, we have to educate the people so that they appreciate SACCOs and how they work. Cooperation among cooperatives, concern for community, all these are cooperative SACCOs, cooperative principles. I wish I had time to go them one by one. Cooperative values, what are they that we value? What are those values that we treasure as cooperatives? And this is worldwide. Self-help, like I mentioned, SACCOs are made to help us as members. We form SACCOs to help us to work for us as members, self-responsibility.
Sorry, we seem to have lost Mercy. Let me just try to get her back.
Solidarity. Please confirm if you can hear me now, Ronald, because I've just had a power outage.
Yes, we lost you there for a minute, but I think you're back now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So without really going into the details, I would like to look at this, the different cooperatives that we have or we deal with, and my concentration will be on the financial cooperatives or the SACCOs. But we also have agriculture cooperatives, we have energy cooperatives, we have health cooperatives, housing cooperatives, it that 60% of the SACCOs in Uganda are in rural areas. And yes, the 40% are in urban areas. Why is it that this is happening like this? Most likely it is happening because the people in the villages have discovered the secret of working together, of forming their SACCOs, of owning it. And when you go to a region like Western Uganda, SACCOs are taking root and they are doing a lot of work. The other week I was in one of the SACCOs in Western Uganda, and I found they have a product of buying trees that support matoke, banana plantation, so that when the wind comes, they don't fall. And that is one of the products they have developed. I mean, they have discovered the secret of working together as a team, as SACCOs. And, you know, sometimes we people in the urban areas, we think, you know, SACCOs are for those who are in the in rural areas, for those who are aged. You know, we still have that mentality, but people in the rural areas have discovered that. So people on call, I want to inform you that, or I want us to appreciate that SACCOs are big. SACCOs have turned around the economic situations in their members' lives. We have big SACCOs in Uganda who are even over and above 60 billion in asset base, 100 billion in asset base, 200 billion in asset base, and they are SACCOs, and they are there doing wonders and miracles and transforming people's lives. Like I mentioned, one of the business model of SACCOs is our primary focus, our primary objective is member benefit. If you have anything else that you're focusing on and not member benefit, then you're getting it wrong. And how do we do that? We must make sure that as SACCOs, we engage in profitable operations. We must make money and make money for our members. liquidity, we must have enough capital to fund our members. I tell people and my members that I serve that in case you have any business concept, any business idea, and you want money, come and we first discuss this. If I fail to fund you, then I will tell you I've failed, but do not go to any other financial institution. First come and we discuss how to do this. I have seen businesses take off for our members, and I have a few examples I'm going to share with you in this presentation. So we must look at our members as the primary objective why we are why we exist as SACCOs. So what is it that SACCOs are adding in terms of value to our members? One, they are a cheap source of investment financing. And if you are on call and you belong to a SACCO, it is a yes, I guess, from you. If you go to a SACCO and you have a business idea, then you should be able to access financing at the cheapest rate. And when I talk about cheapest rate, I am talking about our competitors. Who is your competitor in this industry? Gone are the days when SACCOs used to be for those members in the hard-to-reach areas. Our competitors are banks, our competitors are money lenders, our competitors are, all financial institutions around us. So what is it that we're offering to our members? Individual investment portfolio growth. Are we empowering our members to grow individually? What is it that we are offering? Financial literacy. Like I mentioned, it is our obligation to educate our members so that they are informed, so that they know what to invest in, what is happening in the market, what are the trends, and they're able to make informed decisions. But also, as SACCOs, one of the things that I want members to appreciate on call is that we do business for our members, and every money we make is money for us, We make money, and after we have made the money, we pay you interest. And I mean, you borrow, you pay interest on the loan, but the money we get, we again pay you back on your interest, savings, on your dividends as shares. So that is the model of cooperatives. That is the model of SACCOs. We must also appreciate that when we pool our resources together, it is a shared risk. It is a shared risk. Instead of Mercy going alone to invest in a $1 billion project, let's come together, 100 of us, and invest in that project. In case the business goes bad, then we have shared our risks as cooperators. So how does the SACCO financial system work? Members bring money together and put it in the SACCO, and then the SACCO lends money to those who are looking for money. That is lending members different projects, different business ideas at a subsidized interest rate. Why? Because you have given us your money and we are lending it to your neighbor, and we call it people helping people, which is the philosophy for SACCOs. Recently, I have been interacting with some of the people and the members of different SACCOs. And the question they always ask me is, Mercy, why is it that when you go to borrow money from a SACCO, they want you to first save? And yet we have opportunities of walking into a bank or any other financial institution, and we don't have to do savings, and they will give us a loan. I will tell you, it is okay. You can go to the bank, you can go to a money lender, they may not ask you money to save, but let me tell you, they have given you fish to eat, and you will eat the fish and it will get finished. When you come to me and I tell you you have to first save, that makes me a unique business model. It separates, it sets me apart from other institutions. Why? Because I'm not only giving you a fish, but I'm starting by giving you a net, teaching you how to do the fishing yourself. You must save. Once you save and you cultivate into yourself the habit or the character of saving, then you're able to borrow money, knowing that the money I'm borrowing is my money, and then you're able to use it profitably, but also you're able to pay back. I will run to the products, the different SACCO products. And this is where I want to address really the issue of how are we helping our members to access money to finance their businesses. Number one, I always tell people, please know your members. Know your members. What is it that your member wants? And in SACCOs, what sets us apart, what separates, is because we treat our members as individuals. We treat our members as individuals. What is it that your member wants? What is it that they are looking out for? And that is why we say our products are tailored to member needs. We have quite a number of products, and these some cut across SACCOs, but others are unique depending on the common bond of members, the location, and the member needs. Talk about products like business financing loan. We have members who have big businesses in and around Kampala. We have financed their businesses. They have imported goods. We give them money and they pay back. We're able to give them top-ups. We are able to walk this journey with them, and they can testify of how this has been a success in this business. We also identified or developed another product called the asset acquisition loan. Now, this is one of the most street product that is running around in SACCOs, the asset acquisition product. That is, if you identify anything that you need for your business, maybe machinery, maybe land where to put your industry or whatever, we partner with you to deliver on that. Project or contract financing, housing loans, agricultural loans, real estate, emergency loans, weekend loans, school fees, name it. So many things happening. But I would like to run through this math on the screen. Why I say that SACCOs are a way of creating wealth for our members. Before you is a SACCO in Uganda, and a member bought shares of 20 million in 2017. In 2021, the member had made return on investment of 31.2 million from the shares this member bought. How did they make it? They earned dividends as given those rates on the screen. This is a real life experience. This is a real life experience. That means that SACCOs are a way of, this is one way we can look at investing our funds profitably. Imagine someone has 20 million in 2017. Now they have made a return on investment. This is only interest and dividends earns 31%, 31 million, meaning that when you add 31 million on 20 million, their worth in the SACCO is now 51 million. Which other business can you give you this return? Real estate model. This is one other model that we are working with. And I think it is cutting across many SACCOs, especially in Kampala here. One, we buy land for you as our members, and we sell it back to you as our members. I have seen people own lots of land. And how do we do this? We give you land and you pay in installments as and when you want, at a very little, margin, very little interest. And this is how people have been able to raise even the collateral they need to be able to borrow and access finances to finance their businesses. So there's so many products, there are so many things that we can do to benefit our members. We have agricultural loans. This is a member of one of our SACCOs, and he has 10,000 bahts. He said that when on average, his return, his turnover in a month is about 70 million in a month. And he makes this, and we finance this project. You know, so many things are happening. Contract financing. Recently, we enabled our member to deliver on a 1 billion contract. Ask me how we did this. This member has the experience, and he got a contract to deliver on something, and he didn't have the money. We mobilized the funds. He needed a bank guarantee for the bank to give him money. I mean, he did not have security to go to the bank and also get the bank guarantee from there. What we did as a SACCO, we opened a fixed deposit account in the bank and stood as surety for our member, and the bank gave him the bank guarantee, which he took to the organization which had given him the contract, and they were able to give him money to deliver on his project, on his contract. So with cooperatives, with SACCOs, everything is possible. Everything is possible. You just need to have a relationship with your SACCO. You just need to have a relationship with the management, with this institution. Be a good member. Fulfill the obligations of membership. If it means saving, go and save. If it means borrowing, go and borrow. But when you borrow, please, please pay. Please pay. So what are some of the challenges that are hitting SACCOs in Uganda and even beyond? One, we do not know about SACCOs. We have limited knowledge about SACCOs. People do not know how SACCOs have transformed communities. They don't know the impact of SACCOs in the business industry, in the economy. They still look at SACCOs as small organizations. They don't know the products that SACCOs are offering. They don't want to learn about that. Dependence on grants and donations. The SACCOs I have worked with, we do not have money, external loans. Members have the capacity to save all the money that we need to lend them out, all the money that we need to finance their businesses, all the money that you need to run that project that you have been stalling for long, simply because members have committed to being active members of the SACCO, appreciated to saving, appreciated borrowing, appreciated paying back, appreciated using all the products of the SACCO. We have also another challenge, Ronald, I would say, is limited innovations. We are still stuck in the traditional way of doing things. Things are happening. People are taking up different products. IT, information technology, people are using all that. I mean, we must be at the top of the game if we have to address the member needs. We have quite a number of SACCOs running in and out, and so many issues that are happening and models that are coming up, maybe, and yet many SACCOs are yet to be formed. And sometimes this encourages people to borrow from right and left, and at the end of the day, they fail to pay back their money. And also, I would say that another issue that we are struggling with as SACCOs in Uganda is the corporate image. We have had in the past people who have burnt their fingers, they have put money in the SACCOs, and they have not paid back. But also mentioning again here, maybe which is not written on this screen, is the regulation environment in Uganda. We are still working out, but it is taking shape. It is taking shape. And for me, I think that is one way of progressing and going through this sector as cooperators and SACCOs. Last, I want to conclude by this good post that also has been running around on social media. And it says, if you are a young man or a woman growing up in a country without health insurance or public welfare package, please ensure you belong to an association or society of your town, religion, old boys, girls, or professional group. At your time of need, it is this group that will come to your aid. If you run into trouble because of mistaken identity, intimidation, error of judgment, etc., it is this group that will come forward to vouch for you or rescue you. Stop running around like a lone ranger. Stop running around like a lone ranger in a tough city or a country, thinking that you have all it takes to survive. In spite of the strength and bravery of the lion, it is still lives in pride. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you. I want to conclude by saying, if you don't belong to a SACCO, if you don't belong to a group of members and you're saving together and you're pulling together, this is a challenge for you this morning to go out and join one. Secondly, let us know that it is us to finance our businesses. Let us develop that attitude. It is us to finance our businesses. And how are we going to do that? We are going to do that because we have where we belong, where we can go and ask them, I want $1 million, and they'll give you $1 million. Let us stop waiting for donations. Let us stop waiting for government releases. Let us stop waiting for someone to pick funds out of pocket and give us to build our businesses. It is you, it is your wisdom, it is you to make a decision this morning to know, how am I going to make the money? It does not come easily. You have to sacrifice, you have to save, you have to eat beans and then save the money, invest it so that tomorrow you'll eat chicken. I thank you so much, Ronald. Thank you.
Wow. Thanks a lot, Mercy, for that elaborate submission on this subject. Clearly, from the presentation of Mercy, we can say with confidence, she's not only experienced about this, but she's passionate about the topic which she has addressed. There are a number of messages which came out as she submitted, and I know we are going into a Q&A right now. Mercy, there is a lot of messages coming through saying thank you for the subject, from Teddy, from Grace, from Rebecca. A number of people are saying, Amy says a poem a take, Madame Mercy. And Josephine says, well done, Mercy. Mercy, thanks for the submission. This topic is one which you have opened up to us. I saw a comment which came through earlier that our eyes have been open to this. And for me, as you submitted, I think all of us have been exposed to the reality that there is a kind of a source of financing which we have not really optimized. There is a statistic you gave us about 60% of the SACCOs being rural and 40% being urban, meaning when the word SACCO is mentioned, in our minds, we think it's a village. It is in a village. So when they say there is a SACCO, your mind goes back to your village, and it's helping village groups. You see people putting together 10,000, 5,000 shillings. That is the picture of the SACCO which we have. But I think Mercy has made it clear that that is not the picture we should have. There is a page you flashed, Mercy, where you showed us some of the SACCOs. A SACCO like Wazalendo is bigger than many banks. the URA SACCO, SteadFin SACCO, which Mercy manages. These are big SACCOs which are helping people build homes, which are helping people start businesses and grow them, which are helping people acquire assets. That is a message which I hope that we can all walk away with. It is critical to notice that what this opportunity for us to say we can be able to raise capital jointly is something which has been missing. That people are going to the bank to borrow 5 million shillings, to borrow 10 million shillings, to borrow 30 million shillings. Why? Why should that come from the bank? Why shouldn't that come from your workplace SACCO, from your church or your mosque SACCO, why should it come from the bank? And those are the questions I think which Mercy has so elaborately asked and explained to us. And Mercy, the second thing which I thought was powerful is the perception is one problem, but also this idea that I want credit without saving. I think one thing which you have said clearly is that the saving is tied to the credit. So it means we save first, because the bank can give you money times 10 of your salary, but what stake do you have in there? And I think that's what the SACCO teaches you. I'm a passionate cooperator myself, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm a member of FIC SACCO. And one of the things which I've noticed is that by the time you come to the SACCO to ask for money, you have to put something down. They ask, first learn that discipline, and then we can be able to support your project. And I think those are powerful points. Mercy, there are a number of questions coming through. I'm going to give you a chance. I'll give a chance to those who can put up their hands. I'll give a chance to 2 or 3 people to be able to ask questions, and then we'll have a couple of rounds. So if you want to ask a question, please put up your hand. When I see it, I will I'll give you an opportunity to ask. Mr. Iga, yes, Mr. Iga, you can unmute and then ask your question.
Thank you very much, Ronald. Thank you, Mercy. I cannot say enough. Thank you. I think probably the most important thing that is happening today through this series is that we actually are getting more and more of us to have collective appreciation and understanding of these issues, which have been pertinent for a very, very, very long time. It's such a pleasure to be able to listen in and to participate in something like this. Thank you very much. What I want to ask is something I had posted. You find a SACCO of, let's say, 25 members, and each member has held it holds in there maybe 5 million shillings, making a total of 125. And then you find a bigger SACCO, which has got 1.25 billion, in other words, 10 times more. Can the smaller SACCO apply to become a member of the bigger SACCO and deliver its savings in there? Probably because the bigger SACCO has better economies of scale and ends up with higher returns. And so the smaller one stays together because they've got a camaraderie, they've got an association effect with them, but then they authorize for them to have a joint, a single account with the bigger SACCO. I would like to look at that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Iga, for that question. I'm a smaller SACCO, how can I incorporate into a bigger one to be able to enjoy those benefits? Thank you, Mr. Iga. Mercy, you will capture that question. I see Kigwe. Kigwe, please unmute and you can ask your question.
Yes, am I through?
Yes, we can
hear me.
Yes, we can.
Good morning, Ronald. Thank you for the opportunity. And good morning, Mercy. Thank you for that good presentation. Okay, my question is, I don't know whether it will make sense, but it's what things should one look out for when deciding to join a cooperative stroke SACCO?
Yeah, I've had this message. I want to join a SACCO. What things should I look out for before I join a SACCO, before I get into one? Mercy, you'll capture that. Let's have Brian and Juliet. Pora.
Hello, thank you. Is it a good idea to join more than one SACCO, like maybe 3? What are the pros and cons?
Great, straightforward question, Mercy there. Should I join here? Should I join there? What is it a good idea? What does the law say? Mercy, you will help us answer that question. I don't know whether there is one more who wants to come through. You could put up your hand and ask before I invite Mercy back. Mercy, there are also a couple of questions in the chat room. I think yeah, there's SACCOs, although good, have very high interest rates, and that is self-defeating. Mercy, do address that question. Is from Paul. SACCOs, although some are good, they have very high interest rates, and it can be self-defeating. There are a couple of people with their hands up. Let me see. Yeah, great. Joseph, you can unmute and then ask your question.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mercy, for the great presentation. Thank you, Ronald, for the organization of this workshop. My question actually is not even a question, but I'd actually want Mercy to throw more light on the analogy that she gave of the 24 border riders who save for 13 days and get 9.3 million. I actually made the calculation and I saw it works out. But I'm wondering, is this sort of evolving sort of rotational savings, or in a way it links to their steady finance SACCO?
Super. Very, very exciting. Thank you for that question.
The SACCO operation.
Exactly. I think Joseph was referring to the SACCO which you talked about, the revolving fund, and there are people there who are coming through. Mercy, I'll give you a chance to answer that. There is someone in the chat room who talked about some SACCOs, some faiths, the faith, the interest is not allowed. I think that was from Dr. Grace. And I think that's possibly the beautiful thing about SACCOs, that when you make a SACCO, the common bond, you can agree the rules which you follow within your SACCO. But Mercy, you can touch on that also, and then we'll have another chance to ask questions. Mercy, over to you.
Thank you, Ronald, and members, for those wonderful and interesting questions. We started with, the first question was someone said, is it, if Iga asked the question, is it okay for a small SACCO to join a big SACCO and benefit from economies of scale? Iga, I would actually tell you that the SACCO I am working with right now is a merger. They initially were 2 SACCOs and they decided to merge and form a bigger SACCO. Right now, it is called SteadFin, but it is a merger. There were 2 SACCOs before they formed SteadFin. So it is very, very possible to join a bigger SACCO. However, you must, one, look at the bigger SACCO. What is the objective of the bigger SACCO that you think you can merge with? Is it the same? Does it have the same objectives like your SACCO? Why did the small SACCO start and why did the big SACCO start? If they have the same objectives, and if you think the members in the smaller SACCO, when they go to the bigger SACCO, their objectives, their need will be met, then why not? But also I have seen, and this is also allowed by law, you can again open an account with a bigger SACCO. The smaller SACCO can have an account with a bigger SACCO. And once you are in that, then you can now benefit from the products of the bigger SACCO. So it is really going back and studying the need and looking at the different options so that you're able to make a right decision. And a right decision in SACCOs is always make sure members' needs are met, members are happy with the decision that you are taking. Someone asked a very interesting question. What should I look out for when I'm joining a SACCO? One, we have different reasons why we form SACCOs. So the question would be, you as an individual, what are you looking for? What is your objective of joining a SACCO? So you have to look at the objectives of the SACCO you're going to join, look at the common bond, look at the common bond, look at what they are offering, and see if that fits within your need, and then you can go ahead and join the SACCO. And really people look at things like, who is the promoter behind this SACCO? What is the leadership? Do they have structures? Do they have policies in place? Is it tested and true? Is the SACCO there? Is the SACCO there, or it's a briefcase SACCO? Those are some of the things people look at. So please do your math, do your check, and ensure that you're joining a SACCO which is there. Don't join a briefcase SACCO. But most importantly is ask yourself a question: what do I need to gain from the SACCO? What is it that I'm looking out for? Once you have that, then you get to understand the objectives of the SACCO, their mode of business, then you make a decision to join. Is it a good idea to join more than one SACCOs? Until the amended Cooperative Act of 2020, previously it was not allowed. We were supposed to be in only one SACCO. Now you can join more than one SACCO, but the most important thing is, why do you want to join more than one SACCO? Secondly, do you have the capacity to fulfill your member obligations in both SACCOs? 3, is it to your advantage or to your disadvantage? Because if I have to borrow from a SACCO and I need to raise maybe a third of the loan that I want, if you have savings in SACCO A and SACCO B, I think for me, I would advise you, if you can, please consolidate all your savings, consolidate your effort in one SACCO, and then be a serious shareholder and grow your portfolio there. But if you must join more than one SACCO, join it for good reasons. Don't join it for bad reasons. Some people come and borrow here, they don't pay, they go and join another SACCO, they borrow, they don't pay, they join another SACCO in the village, they borrow, they don't pay. So join a SACCO, but for a good reason. On the high interest rate, I would say that SACCOs, we develop from one stage to another. There are SACCOs which have just started. And when you have just started and you're still growing your capital base, of course, the costs of operation may be a little higher than a SACCO which is already established. So as a member of this SACCO, first of all, appreciate that you are growing from a smaller SACCO and into a bigger SACCO. And because of that growth pattern, you may have to pay a little more interest rate than maybe other SACCOs or maybe other financial institutions like banks are paying. But I always tell people, this is our money. This is our local good, people helping people. And with all due respect for people who may be here and they're working in banks, but I want to mention this, Ronald, that every time I walk in the bank, they call me a client. Every time you walk to a bank, they call you a client. And indeed, I am a client, because what takes me there is to put my money on the account and get a loan and move out. When you come to a SACCO, you don't come as a client, you come as a member, meaning that even if you pay interest that is higher than that of a bank, once you pay it, you're paying it yourself. You're paying it yourself because this is your SACCO. And at the end of the day, when we are closing our books, we pay that money back to you in form of interest, in form of dividends on shares, in form of interest on other investments. So it still comes back to us. I always tell people that a true cooperator will not look at some of those costs, but look at the impact you're creating in the community. I tell people when I am going home, I look at people who are vending on the streets near my home, and I buy tomatoes, I buy soap, I buy this. By doing that, you have given this person maybe 10,000 shillings, and maybe this is the money they have made the whole day. You may buy soap at an extra cost, an extra shilling, maybe with a difference of 200 shillings. But do you know what you have done? The impact you have created in that man, in that woman's life. You have sent a child to school. When a child goes to school, you have improved the family, and the family will not come back to beg tomorrow. That is a mind of a cooperator. And I want us to go into with that mind as we go back to support our SACCOs. Please do not go and say, I can't borrow in this SACCO because their rate of interest is more than the bank by 2%. You are impacting many lives by saving in that SACCO, by borrowing in that SACCO, by being a committed member of that SACCO. The border post I posted, and I mentioned that this was running on social media. I actually have not met them, but they said they're in Charwajara, so maybe this is a cash round where they collect money every day and then they give money to each other. It's not part of the SACCO of SteadFin that I work with. Someone said that some people say interest, they don't take interest. Yes, we have, of course, we respect the communities we work with, and we have a Sharia law which does not charge interest on loans, but actually they charge interest on loans. However, the way they charge interest is that you take money, do the business, then make surplus, come and we share the surplus. They don't give money for free. You go, borrow money, take it, work, and then come back and share the surplus. I think those are the questions I had, Ronald. Thank you so much.
Sorry, we seem to have lost. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mercy, for that submission. Can you hear me, Mercy?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can, Ronald.
Okay. Super. Great. We'll take one more round of questions. I see Yashim. Yashim, please unmute and ask your question.
Thank you, Mercy. Congratulations for the work that you have done and then for the presentation. My question to you is very simple. My question is in relation to what government is doing now at the Paris development model, formation of SACCOs at the Paris level. And these are rural, poor peasant farmers, which government is saying that they should not be able to pay or to buy share, rather they'll be able to borrow the money from the SACCO. And yet these are people who have not bought shares, people who have not been, they are not making these monthly payments under the PDM. How possible are we going to help this really to see that the SACCO principles that you have talked about are really upheld? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yasim. Let me have Bob. Bob Owi.
Ronald, you may have to redo that question. I just dropped off. I would be happy to have it. Yes, please.
I think Yasim's question was. Oh, Yasim, you can go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mercy, for very good presentation. You presented very well about the core values of cooperatives or SACCOs and the principles that we upheld. which is very wonderful. Now that the government of Uganda is pushing the Paris development model, which people were really rolling out. So on rolling it out, they are saying these are peasant farmers, the poorest of the poor, who are to come to form the SACCOs, and where they do not really expect contributions in terms of money to the formation of the SACCO. And then how feasible is this going to work properly under this arrangement in observing the principles? Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Asim. Bob? Bob, are you there?
I think it's answered.
All right, I don't get Bob. Let me have Josephine Naiga.
Thank you so much, Ronald. Mercy, thank you so much for the presentation. My question is, I was really impressed by the return on investment. How have you managed to grow your return to that level?
Hello, Ronald.
And secondly, we are restricted according to the regulations to only pay 10%, I think, to our members in terms of dividends.
Hello, Ronald.
How have you managed to go to 28? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bob?
Yes, hello. Yes, Ronald. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Ronald, and thank you, Mercy, for the presentation. My question is, can a SACCO open a company, or can a SACCO be a partnership with a company? And can we use the SACCO name? Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Ronald, I have a question.
Let me have Sarah.
Hello, everyone. Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, Sarah, we can hear you.
Yes, this is Sarah from Uganda Chaos Cooperative. Thank you, Mercy, for the presentation, and also Ronald. My question is, she has talked about dividends to give to our members. So I was requesting for to show how we can calculate those dividends and interest so that we can impress our members to save more, because I believe the more they save, the more interest they can make. Thank you very much.
Super, thank you. Let me have Emmy.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Emmy.
I hope
Go ahead,
you can
please.
hear me.
We can hear you.
Mine is just about the principle which talks about autonomy and independence. And you find the government is coming, encouraging members to form SACCOs, but it's the government again who wants to control the SACCO. And this somehow is affecting how the SACCO principles operate. I don't know how much you can advise us on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmy. I think Mercy, that goes back to the first question we had. Let me have Florence. Florence? Florence, over to you. Okay, let me go to Moses. Moses, are you there?
Yes, thank you, Ronald. Thank you for the presentation. Mine is really about credit. Over the years, I've come to realize that most cooperatives have a challenge of bad loans, specifically in default. And most of these loans you find are inadequately secured. For instance, where one takes a savings loan, which is say 3 times more than their savings. Eventually, when there is default, there are challenges in recovery and so on. I would like to hear from the participants what their views are on managing such cases and how best to handle them. And maybe the other one is what has been going around about cooperatives joining the Credit Reference Bureau, whereby we can be able to look at borrowers' credit history. If anyone has any information on that, would be very interested in having some feedback on that. Otherwise, thank you for the presentation. Moses, UNBS Staff SACCO. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moses, for that submission. I'll go to Emmanuel.
Okay, thank you so much, Ronald. This is Emmanuel. I don't know whether I could be speaking from my point of ignorance or what, but I'll need some more education. I'm wondering, I belong to a fully registered SACCO, but looking at what the presenter just said, saying that money should be given at a slightly smaller interest. I realize, okay, I would want more clarification. What would be the advisable interest to which a member can receive money and also a non-member, because we learned both members and non-members, and also comparing them to banks, because I find most SACCOs do maybe, for example, let me say 5%, and 5% is given for the period for which one borrows the money. For example, it has said 3 months, but if you accumulate that, you find that it's even more expensive than a bank that would say maybe that give maybe between 15, let us say to 25 per annum. But for you're coming to get yours maybe for 5 or 5% or 10% for the period that you've borrowed, which could be maybe 3 months, 2 months, or maybe 5 months. You realize that in a long term that it almost comes equalizes that of the bank. So my two issues of clarity are: what would be the best interest for non-members and outside members?
Super. Thanks a lot for those. Mercy, I will invite you to come and answer some of the questions. I think we may even have to take beyond the session. Someone asked for your contact. Mercy, you could possibly type it in the chat room, your email. They wanted to speak to their SACCO on this subject. Members, I'm going to request that you allow me 10 more minutes to allow Mercy to be able to answer the questions that have come through. As you know, we usually end at 10:30, but I ask for just 10, 15 more minutes to be able to wrap up. Mercy, let me allow you to answer those questions.
Thank you, Ronald. I will take a really short time to run through these questions. Like you mentioned, I think we can just have a way of continuing this conversation about this topic. It's an interesting topic. Maybe we can agree on how to keep in touch with our good participants so that we get to learn even more about SACCOs. One asked about the parish development model. My take on the parish development model is it's a good model, but must work within the principles of cooperatives. It must work within the principles of cooperatives. If it goes out, if it doesn't follow the principles of cooperatives, then it is not a SACCO. So as we promote this model, it is very important for us to explain to members how SACCOs work. I still do not believe in handouts to people or to communities without their contribution. SACCOs don't work like that. That's why we are SACCOs. We first save and then we are able to borrow. Even if it means saving 1% of what you're going to get from that parish development model. That should have been the way this should work out. Outside that, I would not comment so much about that, but if you are in that group and you're not following the principles of cooperatives, then go to the right SACCO. Josephine, how are we managed to pay return on investment? One, we have been working around numbers, but also Josephine, to let you know that we have different products that we offer to our members. So I think this is something that we can engage out of this meeting to see how we can create different products where our members can earn. And this is in relation to someone asked the question about paying the maximum of 10% dividends to members. yes, you can pay 10% dividends to members, but you can create other products for members where they can be able to earn from their investments within the SACCO. And again, with all due respect, I will not go beyond that. But you as a leader of the SACCO, as the board of the SACCO, the first thing you have to do is, one, comply with the law. But after you have complied with the law, make sure that your members are happy. So how you're going to do that without compromising the law is how is it that you're going to pay out maybe these bonuses, interest to the members. We can engage more on that, Josephine. I'll share my contact. Can a SACCO be a partner, can be a company? Can we partner with a company? Yes, we can do some joint ventures, especially in terms of investments. But remember, we are regulated. We are regulated by UMRA. We are regulated by the registrar. Whatever you do, you must have authority from the registrar. The registrar must certify that that investment relationship, so that it does not pose a risk or compromise members' funds. That is very, very important for us to appreciate and must be within the law. Emmy asked a question about autonomy and independence as a cooperative principle, and said that government is creating SACCOs and maybe imposing some things on these SACCOs. Emmy, I think the question is a good question. This is a good question, but I always tell people, please be in the right SACCOs. If you think there is something missing in the SACCO where you are and it's not working out, just go to be in the right place. I know many SACCOs are being formed now because they want to tap into government funds and whatever. But like I mentioned, successful SACCOs around Uganda, they are not using any funds from government, neither they're using any funds from external source. It is member savings. So be in the SACCO where you know you're contributing your money and you are you're putting in your money to be able to borrow or to use the products and services of the SACCO. If the government brings funding to the SACCO, don't refuse it, but make sure you have your own laws, you have your own principles, and work within that. And if you think this government funding is going to it's going to compromise the values and the principles of cooperatives, I tell people, 10 million. You can do without that. You can do without that, especially if you know that you can mobilize your funds. And that is the true spirit of having our SACCOs work and work well. Someone asked a question about bad loans. I would like to say that, yes, like any other business, we cannot say that SACCOs don't have, even institutional SACCOs where the deduction is at source, we also have bad loans. And that is why when you in the industry, we have benchmarks, and we have a benchmark of portfolio at risk, which should not go beyond 5%, that is 30 days and above. Why do we have that benchmark? They know that there will be some sort of course, default here and there, but I always tell members that a loan goes bad at the time of appraisal. What policies do you have in place? How deep do you go when you're appraising a loan? I think for me, that's where we should start from. We should be able to have a process or a policy in place that we will support our members so that they are able to borrow, but borrow good loans, which are going to be in good business and they're able to pay back. Of course, we were hit by COVID and our members were not able to pay, especially when who were affected, whose businesses were affected by COVID. But we had to sit together as a board and leadership of the SACCO and profiled our members and were able to identify those who were hit by the pandemic, and we had to work out an arrangement for them. 2, if a member decides or fails to pay, that is where we go for arbitration. SACCOs, before you even go to court and look at other things, you are supposed to have internal arbitration of members, a committee formed by members, where when someone defaults, you invite that person in that meeting and try to walk this journey with them and see why they are defaulting and how you can support them as a SACCO. 3, we have, that's why we have different parameters of appraisal and maybe corrective, including guarantors. Some SACCOs, especially community SACCOs, to borrow, you need a guarantor, someone who is going to stand for you and say, you know what, this and this is okay, he will pay, or even walk this journey with you and say, you know, this business, you're borrowing money to start a business, you don't have experience in this business, I think this is not a good thing, just go and maybe use your savings. So we need to support our members, we need to educate our members, but when it happens that a member has failed to pay, then go arbitrate. If you find that the member cannot pay, then you may have no option. But yeah, to keep following up and maybe do support as guarantors. Though it's not a good thing to use guarantors' money to pay someone's loan. Emmanuel, what is advisable interest? I would like to say that that also depends on the numbers by the SACCO. But the question I have for you, Emmanuel, is are you a SACCO or you are a microfinance? Because SACCOs do not lend to non-members. If you're doing that and you're a SACCO, then you're doing something which is outside the law. It's not allowed. SACCOs are not allowed to lend to non-members. So maybe you could be a microfinance or even something else, but not a SACCO if you're doing that. However, go and work out numbers. It is your responsibility as the leader, board management, work out numbers to ensure that, one, the SACCO does not operate in deficit because you need to make surplus, because you need to survive. However, your objective should not be to exploit members and make huge profits. No, it should be enough to pay back the people who are funding you, that is those savers, to pay them interest, and then pay dividends on shares, and then be able to cover the operational costs and save some money as retained earnings for the SACCO. But otherwise, if you're lending to non-members, that is wrong. Please stop it if you are a SACCO. Thank you, Ronald.
Wow, thanks a lot, Mercy. Clearly, what is coming through in the chat boxes, this is a conversation we need to continue. So Mercy, one of these days we may have to come back and finish this long conversation. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has joined us. This is a topic which clearly from the discussion we have had is one which we need to continue having. We need to have it more. SACCOs are not viewed as tools for wealth creation. SACCOs are not viewed as tools for really access for finance for our businesses. And that's a narrative we need to change. I think from where Mercy opened with the picture of her late father, it was a tool of wealth creation. The cooperative is a tool of wealth creation, and many people grew up on that tool. We need to make sure that we resurrect it. We need to make sure that we strengthen it. We need to make sure that we participate in it, that it is urban and rural, that it is in every household. We believe that that is true. Mercy, thank you so much for sharing with us. It has been an amazing and eye-opening session. It is such an honor to have you. Thank the team at SteadFin, which you work with. Thank them for giving you time to be able to be here with us. I want to thank all the cooperators who have joined us. There's so many cooperatives and SACCOs which are on the call. Thank you so much for coming. And for that one of you who is not a cooperator, let's stand up and cooperate. We have to cooperate as families, as communities, as churches, as mosques, as regions, as cities. We need that cooperation to come through so that we can be able to pull ourselves out of this. Mercy, there's something which you mentioned, which I want to close with. The SACCO is owned and run for the members. It is our thing. Every time we expect too much help from a distance outside, we miss the point. It is holding each other's hand and being able to pull out ourselves out of the circumstances we are. I believe that we can build a stronger SACCO movement. It's a big movement out there. For those of you who don't know it, Mercy has spoken here, not just as the CEO of SteadFin, but really as a cooperator, as a person who is part of this SACCO movement, which is a very broad movement. So we'll continue engaging, we'll continue this conversation. Thank you so much for being here. As usual, please send a shout out in the chat box, say hi, make sure that you send a shout out to Mercy and thank her, give her a clap for the work which she has done for us. Thank you so much, Mercy. We are very honored. Mercy, there are a couple of people asking for your email address and phone contact. You can just type that into the chat box so that people can be able to get it. Thank you so much for being here. We'll be back next Thursday at 9:30. We try to end at 10:30. We are rather at 9. We try to end at 10:30. We apologize that today we have overrun a little, but I think for good reason. It was such an insightful and heartwarming topic. Mercy has given her contact. It's 0772 939121. 0772 939121. Contact her. Mercy can come and visit your SACCO, be able to share and be able to make sure. One of the things we do as cooperators is to stand with each other as we get out of the circumstances we're in. Thank you so much once again. Keep building those businesses. Don't stop fighting. Make sure that we can be able to go out. Remember, this is a recovery series to be able to come out of the situation which we have been in for the last 2 years. We believe slowly we will be able to move out. Thank you. Have a lovely week, and may your businesses be blessed and you, the owners, and your families. Thank you, and have a blessed week. I'll keep the meeting open for about 5 minutes. You can share with us what you do. If you want a contact of someone, ask for it so that we can be able to really jump and win and win together. Have a lovely time and all the best.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you, members. All the best.
Kashi wabutuikefe ushifishi ukonga ifya kusenda no kusana pena pachete mwiko chale saome chalo 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 chimawama osas konkeza uzavera mojabe chalo chalo Charles Chimawama, osas conquereza, uzafera mochabe, chalo, chalo, Charles Chimawama, osas conquereza, uzafera mochabe. Kapena ni moa, kapena ni faka, chamene chaono ngama tuba pasiko ya Zambia. Kapena ni ndalama, kapena ni pressure. Chaono nga mitima za tuamushe pano pasiko. Tapinda ati tachenjele